Okay, here I have removed the cold air intake and the heat shield, and you can see there that's a catalytic converter underneath those. See over there underneath the exhaust manifold, that's the catalytic converter. Okay, here there's a bolt there. See that? See that bolt? That's the bottom part of the catalytic converter. This one and these 5 altogether, these one on top, that's the top of the catalytic converter. That's the oxygen sensor. I don't need to remove this because it's not attached to the catalytic converter. So what I'm going to do is get to the bottom of this car, jack it up and remove 3 bolts underneath there, and then I will remove the tube, the J tube, exhaust tube underneath there, and then I'll come back up here and remove these 5 bolts and drop it down below and put a new one underneath and pull it up from there. Alright, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, here's the one that I had installed 9 months ago, and it's no longer good for the car. The car is giving a code of 421. It still looks the same like how it was when I first installed it, except that this thing, it was a bit more whitish. Now it's a little bit more grayish or blackened, and it's no longer good for the car. The car computer in the car is complaining that is not enough. And here's the one I'm going to install now. It's a Walker 82578, and I'm going to take it out of the box and show it to you. Okay, the new catalytic converter is in there now, and I'm going to tighten these 5 bolts on top to 15, somewhere between 15 to 20 foot-pound. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show you a few more things. Okay, I did that one, and I'm going to do this one. Okay, so that's 15 to 20 foot-pound, and this one here, and there are 2 more, one inside here and another one inside there, which I already did. This is the hook that holds the wire from the lower oxygen sensor. So the hook is the original one from the original catalytic converter. I mounted on a bracket with a nut and a bolt, and I have this bracket is actually just a scrap aluminum channel that I have in my garage, so I just made it into a bracket. And what I do is I just mount it in here. I just put it in here on this screw, and I put another nut on top of it and put that wire in there onto that hook, and the same thing I did below, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay, that's how it looks. See there? I put that oxygen sensor wire, the bottom oxygen sensor wire, onto the hook, which is fastened to the bracket, which I mounted on one of the bolts on top. And at the bottom I did the same thing. I'm going to show you in a minute. See that hook there? That's holding the lower oxygen sensors wire, and the hook is fastened to a bracket, which is the same aluminum channel that I cut into two pieces, and is mounted here. It's mounted here. It's mounted. Oh, where did it go? It mounted here to this bracket. This bracket is tied onto this side hook of the new catalytic converter. This double-ended bolt which I removed from the top of the old catalytic converter, and this is the exhaust pipe which I had to remove in order to get access to the catalytic converter above it. And this is a replacement with the heat shield. I reused the heat shield, and there used to be the original one had a bracket on the side. This one doesn't have. So if you had the original one, you have to remove one bracket in order to get this exhaust pipe out of there, and you have to loosen two of this, one here and one on the other side. You have to take this out in order to remove this, along with three bolts. These three bolts you've seen on top, one here and one on each side. And with those removed, you can drop down with this exhaust pipe removed, you can drop down the catalytic converter. And I have the new one installed right now. Okay, yesterday I took the car for a drive. I drove for about 10 miles, pulled into a parking lot, shut the engine for about 30 seconds, restarted the engine, and then drove another 10 miles, pulled into another parking lot, shut the engine for about 15 seconds and restarted the engine, and the check engine light went off. Now I'm checking in the car with the scan tool, and it turned out the code is still there but the light is off. So it looks like I need to clear it manually and before it will go to a ready state. Maybe I should wait for another few more cycle of driving or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to wait. Actually, I will not clear this code from the car. I will wait until it clears itself out. It turned off the check engine light, so I was expecting the code to be gone. Looks like it didn't. It only turned off the check engine light, but the code is still there and it's not showing ready for inspection. It would have shown this green one instead of the yellow one had it been ready for emission test. Okay, I'm gonna shut this camera and I will check the car again in another day of driving. Here I am in my car. Yesterday I erased the code, and after driving 10 miles, after erasing the code, I drove the car for 10 miles and it gave me a green LED, green check mark here, which means it can go to an emission test and pass without any problem. This means that the car was driven and there was no issue found by the onboard computer. Thank you.